Today we will be working with data in JavaScript. First things first, variables. Our data is stored in variables, that's why they are called storage containers. They hold values of objects until we need them. You can put whatever data you want into these containers. Variables in JavaScript are created using a var prefix and variable name. Variable created can be of any name as per your choice. It can be anything using letters, numbers, underscore, but there should not be white spaces between variable names. And as stated earlier, JavaScript is a case-sensitive language. So, name of variable in upper and lower case will be considered as two different variables. Now, here is a small and very simple example how variables are used in JavaScript. First, we have a variable a and its value is 4. After that, another variable with var prefix whose value is assigned 5. Then we have a variable name as sum to add the values of both a and b. So I will declare a variable a equals 5, another variable b equals 4, a variable sum to add both the values. Or we can list our variable a, b, sum and separate them with commas. After that, we can assign the values a equals 4, b equals 5, sum equals a plus b. Or you can also initialize or assign values like var a equals 4, b equals 5, sum equals a plus b. So these are some ways for creating and using variables. You can declare and use variables in any of the three forms as per your choice. There is no change between them. Now, as I told you earlier, variables are declared with var prefix in JavaScript. So without that, declaration of variable will cause issues in the code. And to avoid such problems, variables must be declared using var prefix. Next, we have data types in JavaScript. The data we store and use in variables fall into 6 primitive data types: numeric, string, boolean. These three are common. Null and undefined are used occasionally, and a new one is introduced called symbol, which we will not cover in this course. A numeric data type in a variable simply assign a number to it, and it can be any regular number like 1, 2, 50, 100, etc. or real numbers. Numbers assigned to variables can also be negative and positive, and because the limit of storing a number is ridiculously high, so any number can be stored in it. String data type. It handles strings of letters and symbols which are commonly referred as words and sentences. String data types are wrapped around straight quotation marks. They can either be single or double quotes. Here, in this example, a string variable is declared with double quotation marks. We can also create our variable with mixed quotes, like in the second variable. We have started our string with single quotes and the word quotation is in double quotes. Likewise, when you use hyphens or quotes in your text, you have to be extra careful, and to resolve this problem properly, escape the string quotes by placing a backslash in front of each of them, and the browser will treat it like a regular text. Boolean data type. It handles binary true or false. Store a Boolean data type in variable, type in true or false without quotation marks. Null data type. It is the intentional absence of an object value using null. The variable declared will be empty, not undefined. Undefined data type is that when you create a variable but don't set it to anything. How to find the data type of variables those are created? For that, you can use the type of operator. Here are bunch of variables, and if I open this example in browser, console.log type of followed by variable name, so this returns a number. So this is our string. That's a boolean. Now this gives an object. That's an error by the browser itself. It's a null value, but it's treated like an object because there is literally nothing inside it. And then undefined. Next, we will be studying about operators. Programming in its most basic form is taking some data, doing something with it, and putting the results back. And this is done using operators. And in JavaScript, we have bunch of operators. Our first operator is assignment operator. You have already seen it, the equal symbol in JavaScript. It is an assignment operator. Whatever is on the right of the equal sign will be assigned to the variable on the left. Say var a equals 4. So a will be assigned the value 4. Next, arithmetic operators. These are standard math operators like plus, minus, multiply, divide. Now this is a small example. Here we are adding two values. Minus is for subtraction, asterisk for multiply, and slash for division. JavaScript follows standard algebra rule A plus B times C. Due to operator precedence, multiplication of B and C is done first. After that, A is added to it. If you want to do something like multiply the sum of A plus B by C, then wrap A plus B in parentheses. We typically work with variables. There is a good chance you may do calculation on the existing variable and then store the result, something like a equals a plus 4. Since the same variable is on the both sides, we can make a shorthand like a plus equals 4. So what this will do, it will take the value of a, add 4 to it and return the result to a. Similarly, we can do with minus, multiply and divide. Unary operator. So what this operator do is, if you want to add or subtract one from a value, then unary operators are used. They are super shorthand. Instead of doing a equals to a plus 1, you can simply type a plus plus, and same can be done with minus. You can also reverse this operator by writing plus plus a or minus minus a. Result will be same but in different order. So let's go to console and understand this. Here I will first set a new variable a with value 1 and console log a and got 1. Now if I console log plus plus a, I got 2. That's because we added 1 to the original value before printing out a. Remember, in JavaScript, whatever happens first and then other things, because here plus plus happens before a, so value is added first and then printed. On the other hand, if I console log a plus plus, the result is still 2, but now if I console log a, it's 3. That's because this time we logged out the value of a first and then 1 is added to it. This may be weird, but it's actually a useful tool when you start working with increments. Now, we have studied about the operators, so let's look how our operators interact with numbers and strings. Here is an example. I used simple numbers to perform math operations. Var a equals 4, var b equals 5 and var sum equals a plus b. So this works fine because both parts of the equation is a number. But what happens if that's not the case? Take the following example. Var a equals 4 and var b is a string 5 and var sum is again a plus b. Now because one variable contains a string, so JavaScript assumes that you want to combine the two strings and plus symbol is no longer an arithmetic operator. Instead, it is a string operator and the result we get will be 4, 5, which is first variable followed by second variable. This is how two different types of data string together using JavaScript. It is plus is the only one arithmetic operator that is also a string operator. Now if you use minus operator, say a minus b, the math works even though we have a number and a string. This is because JavaScript says you are trying to do math even though b is a string And because it only contains a number, so I'm going to assume you want to use it as a number. Same thing happens when we do multiplication and division. It's programmatically wrong, but you still get results. Here is another example. If we have a variable a that is number 4 and a variable b that is string hello, and if I try to subtract a from b, so let's see what happens. So here in our console I get the error because we cannot subtract a string and a number. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please hit the like button. If you want to see more videos, hit the subscribe button, and if you have something to say, leave a comment.